High Admiral Zixtal of the Hegemony diplomatic fleet stood on the bridge of the flagship Eternal Dawn, their crystalline carapace reflecting the pale blue light of Earth on the main view screen. The mission had seemed simple enough. Approach the pre-FTL civilization, demonstrate overwhelming technological superiority, and offer them the standard terms of submission to become a protectorate of the hegemony. It had worked flawlessly with 37 other species. Status report on the human response to our arrival, Zixtal commanded, their secondary arms twitching with anticipation. First Officer Venra consulted the neural interface projected before their compound eyes. Multiple reactions, Admiral. Their military forces are mobilizing, but their global communication networks are overwhelmed with civilian responses ranging from panic to celebration. Their governing bodies are attempting to establish contact. Proceed with Standard Protocol Gamma. Deploy the peace spheres over their major population centers. The peace spheres, massive crystalline orbs that served as both demonstration of power and communication hubs, descended through Earth's atmosphere. Humanity's first glimpse of alien technology came in the form of these beautiful, seemingly harmless structures hovering above every major city on the planet. Admiral Catherine Singh sat in the underground command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, watching the alien vessels through encrypted satellite feeds. 25 years in the United Nations Space Defense Force hadn't prepared her for this moment, but something about the aliens' approach triggered every warning bell in her mind. "General Thompson, what's the status of Protocol Omega?" she asked, her eyes never leaving the screens. "All nuclear assets are secured and mobile, Admiral. The Chinese and Russians have confirmed the same. Whatever these visitors want, we're ready." The peace spheres activated simultaneously across the globe, projecting massive holograms of Zixtal's imposing form. The message was broadcast in perfect English, Mandarin, Russian, and every major human language. "People of Earth, we come representing the Galactic Hegemony, a federation of advanced civilizations spanning thousands of light years. We offer you the opportunity to join us as a protectorate species, to benefit from our guidance and protection. Your acceptance will grant you access to technologies beyond your imagination. Your refusal, a pause for effect, would be unfortunate." In the UN Security Council's emergency session, heated debates erupted. Some nations advocated immediate acceptance, dazzled by the promise of advanced technology. Others urged caution, suspicious of the implied threat. Admiral Singh's worst fears were confirmed when her quantum encryption specialists decoded a secondary transmission between the alien vessels. Preliminary scanning complete. Human genetic structure highly compatible with bioenhancement protocols. Estimated yield: 8 billion viable specimens for the labor pools. Proceed with Pattern 7 subjugation. She didn't hesitate. "General Thompson, initiate Omega Protocol." Authorization Singh Delta 09. The peace spheres were beginning their second phase, releasing a neural pacification field that would render Earth's population docile, when humanity demonstrated why assuming technological superiority equals tactical superiority can be a fatal mistake. From hidden silos, submarine depths, and mobile launchers across the globe, Earth's nuclear arsenal launched simultaneously. Not at the peace spheres, as the hegemony's tactical computers predicted, but at precisely calculated points in space, creating a web of thermonuclear detonations that trapped the alien fleet in a devastating crossfire. Zixtal watched in horror as their shields, designed to repel energy weapons and kinetic impacts, proved inadequate against the primitive but overwhelming force of nuclear physics. Impossible. Their weapons are pre-atomic age. Our scans showed. "Admiral," Venra screamed. "They're using the electromagnetic pulses from the detonations to mask. By the first ones, they have submarines in space." The submarines were humanity's black projects, stealth vessels designed for orbital warfare, their existence hidden from the public, and more importantly, from alien observation. As the hegemony fleet struggled with damaged shields, these vessels emerged from their electromagnetic hiding spots, launching tungsten kinetic kill vehicles at relativistic speeds. The battle lasted less than 30 minutes. When it ended, the mighty hegemony diplomatic fleet was reduced to captured vessels and debris. The peace spheres, their control signals severed, hung inert above Earth's cities as testament to humanity's refusal to submit. Admiral Singh stood before the UN Security Council 2 days later. The prisoners have been cooperative after their initial shock wore off. Their databanks confirm our suspicions. The hegemony has been enslaving primitive species for millennia, using their populations for labor and genetic experimentation. They never expected resistance, let alone defeat. She paused, allowing her next words to carry their full weight. We've also acquired their faster-than-light technology. The hegemony has outposts throughout the galaxy, including several only a few light years from Earth. They will soon realize their diplomatic fleet has failed. The Chinese representative spoke first. You're suggesting we strike first. I'm suggesting we show them exactly why assuming humanity would be easy prey was their last mistake. We have their technology, their tactical data, and most importantly, we have something they've never encountered. A species that would rather die on its feet than live on its knees. The vote was unanimous. Within 24 hours, Earth's first interstellar war fleet would launch, crewed by veterans of a battle that lasted less than an hour but changed the course of human history forever. The message sent to the Hegemony Central Command was brief. Your diplomatic overture has been considered and rejected. Expect our counter-proposal shortly. The captured Hegemony vessel's command center looked strange with human operators at its crystalline control interfaces. Lieutenant Raj Patel ran his fingers across the neural interface band, still amazed at how quickly humanity had adapted the alien technology. 3 weeks since first contact, and already they were preparing to take the fight to the enemy's doorstep. Neural synchronization at 98%, he reported to Admiral Singh, who stood examining the holographic star map displaying their first target. Outpost Sen 147, the nearest Hegemony forward base. Status of the fleet. Singh's voice carried the weight of humanity's first interstellar military operation. All 16 vessels report ready, Admiral. The Russian contingent has successfully integrated the plasma weapon systems, and the Chinese crews have mastered the inertial dampeners. We're as ready as we'll ever be. Singh nodded, her expression grim. The fleet consisted of captured hegemony ships and hybrid vessels, human warships hastily retrofitted with alien technology. Not ideal, but they couldn't wait. The hegemony would be preparing a response to their diplomatic fleet's destruction. Begin jump sequence, she ordered. All ships, execute Operation Thunderbolt. The sensation of faster-than-light travel was something no human had experienced until 3 weeks ago. Now, hundreds of Earth's finest military personnel felt reality twist as their ships tore through the fabric of space-time. They emerged in perfect formation around Sen 147, a massive space station orbiting a red dwarf star. The station's defensive systems, calibrated to recognize hegemony ship signatures, delayed their response just long enough. All ships, execute attack pattern Delta, Singh commanded. Remember your training. They're not expecting us to know how to use their own weapons. The hybrid Earth vessels struck first, using modified nuclear missiles wrapped in stolen shield technology, a weapon type the hegemony had never encountered. The station's defensive screens, designed to stop energy weapons and kinetic projectiles, struggled to cope with the combination of primitive and advanced technology. Inside the station, Station Commander Yexval received multiple alerts simultaneously. Impossible. They chittered to their staff. Those are our own ships attacking. How dare they? The realization hit too late. The Terrans, sound general quarters. Alert the Hegem. A precision strike from Lieutenant Patel's vessel severed the station's primary communication array. They were isolated. Admiral, Patel called out, I'm detecting multiple life signs in the residential sectors. Not all of them are hegemony species. Singh's expression hardened. Slaves, just as our prisoners indicated. Lieutenant Rodriguez, deploy the boarding teams. Primary objective remains capturing their database intact, but now we have a secondary mission. Liberation. The boarding action revealed the true nature of the hegemony. Each deck contained holding cells filled with beings from dozens of species, all kept in line by neural suppression fields. The human forces, immune to the hegemony's control systems thanks to reverse-engineered protective gear, moved deck by deck, freeing the prisoners. Among them was Kirillix, an avian being whose people had been among the first to fall to the hegemony millennia ago. As the neural suppressors fell, she spread her iridescent wings for the first time in years. You're the ones who destroyed their diplomatic fleet. She warbled in her native tongue, now translated by captured hegemony technology. The ones who said no. We are, Singh confirmed, helping another group of prisoners to their feet. And we're not stopping here. The hegemony's time is over. The station's database proved to be a treasure trove. Not just military information, but the locations of dozens of slave worlds, species the hegemony had conquered and subjugated over thousands of years. More importantly, it contained the codes and protocols for the hegemony's entire command and control network. They never expected anyone to capture this outpost, Paddle explained during the post-operation briefing. Their arrogance means we now have access to their entire military communication system. We can track their fleet movements, intercept their orders, and contact their other victims. Singh finished. She turned to Kirillix, who had proven to be a leader among the freed slaves. Your people have suffered under them for generations. Would they fight if given the chance? The avian being's eyes gleamed with an intensity that needed no translation. My people remember freedom, Admiral Singh. We pass the stories down, generation to generation. Give us weapons, show us how you defeated them, and we will rise up. All of us will. Singh touched the neural interface band, bringing up the captured star charts. Dozens of red dots indicated hegemony worlds. Hundreds more showed their outposts and stations. But now, scattered among them, green dots highlighted the homeworlds of their victims, potential allies. Then let's give them something they've never seen before, Singh declared. A coordinated rebellion, armed with their own technology and led by the species they thought too primitive to be a threat. As the freed slaves were evacuated to Earth ships, Singh received a priority message from Earth Command. The hegemony had finally responded to the destruction of their diplomatic fleet. They were mobilizing their main battle fleets, thousands of ships strong, for a punitive expedition. Singh shared a knowing look with her officers. The hegemony was reacting exactly as expected, pulling their forces away from their subjugated worlds to concentrate on the Terran threat. They had no idea they were playing right into humanity's hands. Send word to Earth, she ordered. Operation Thunderbolt successful. Proceeding with Phase 2, contact, and arm the slave worlds. The hegemony wants to teach humanity a lesson. She smiled grimly. Let's show them how well we've learned the art of rebellion. The freed slaves watched in amazement as the human fleet prepared for their next jump. For the first time in living memory, the impossibility of defeating the hegemony didn't seem so impossible. The species they had dismissed as primitive had not only refused to submit, but had mastered their technology in weeks, and was now systematically dismantling their empire. As Kirillix observed to her fellow former slaves, perhaps the hegemony made a mistake in their assessment of species classification. They assumed technological advancement indicated superiority. They never considered that the truly dangerous species might be the ones who look at a superior force and say, no, we will not submit, we will fight. The Great Hall of Earth's newly constructed Interstellar Command Center buzzed with activity as representatives from 20 formerly enslaved species gathered. 6 months had passed since Operation Thunderbolt, and the galaxy had changed dramatically. Admiral Singh stood before the assembled delegates, her uniform now adorned with symbols representing both Earth and their growing alliance. The hegemony has lost control of 30% of their territory, she announced, gesturing to the holographic map dominating the chamber. Thanks to our combined efforts, their grip on power weakens daily. Kirillix, now serving as the Alliance's chief intelligence coordinator, spread her wings in excitement. Their command structure is falling apart. They never developed countermeasures for internal rebellion because they never believed it possible. The delegate from the Silicon-based Rixian collective, Commander Valthor, raised their crystalline appendage. The hegemony's main battle fleet approaches Earth sector. They commit everything to crush the rebellion's heart. Let them come, Singh replied with a confident smile. Their predictability is their weakness. While they focus on Earth, our forces continue liberating their holdings. More importantly, she nodded to Lieutenant Patel, who activated a new holographic display. The image showed a massive construction project in Earth orbit. The first true human-alien hybrid warships, Singh explained, combining Earth's nuclear technology with hegemony shields, Rixian crystal computing, and Avari stealth systems. The hegemony faces weapons they've never imagined. The Battle of Seoul marked the turning point. The hegemony committed over 3,000 ships to crush Earth, confident in their overwhelming numerical superiority. They didn't expect to face an alliance of former slaves, each contributing their unique technologies and tactical knowledge. High Command Chair Zextal watched in horror as their carefully coordinated attack dissolved into chaos. Human nuclear mines created artificial nebula that masked Alliance ships using Avari stealth tech. Rixian crystal ships phase-shifted through hegemony shields. And everywhere, former slave species fought with the desperate fury of those who had finally tasted freedom. Order the fleet to regroup at the capital, Zextal commanded. We must protect the core systems at all costs. But that, too, was part of the Alliance's plan. As the hegemony fleet retreated, they found their FTL corridors compromised. Centuries of slave labor had built their empire's infrastructure, and now those same slaves used their intimate knowledge to tear it apart. Admiral Singh stood on the bridge of the ESS Defiance, Earth's first purpose-built hybrid warship, as they pursued the retreating hegemony forces. All ships execute Operation Avalanche. The hegemony dies today. The Alliance fleet struck the hegemony capital system from 7 different vectors simultaneously. Each attack group used different technological combinations, overwhelming the defenders' ability to adapt. Human nuclear torpedoes loaded with Rixian phase crystals bypassed planetary shields. Avari stealth bombers dropped Kirillix sonic disruptors that shattered hegemony command centers. The fall of the hegemony capital took 3 days. In the end, High Command Chair Zextal surrendered not to Admiral Singh, but to Kirillix, a former slave now representing the Alliance's governing council. 1 year after first contact, representatives from over 50 spacefaring species gathered in the rebuilt hegemony capital, now renamed Unity Station. The former slave species had declined to submit to Earth's leadership, and humanity hadn't asked them to. Instead, a new form of interstellar cooperation emerged. Admiral Singh, now serving as Earth's representative to the Alliance Council, addressed the gathering. The hegemony fell not because they were technologically inferior, but because they never understood a fundamental truth. True strength lies not in domination, but in cooperation. They saw different species as resources to be exploited. We see them as allies, each bringing unique perspectives and abilities. The Alliance Charter, signed that day, established principles of mutual defense and technological exchange. Former hegemony worlds were offered membership under strict conditions, forcing them to confront and make amends for their past actions. Lieutenant Patel, monitoring the ceremony from the Defiance's bridge, received an alert from the outer system sensors. Admiral, we're detecting an unknown signal approaching the system. Configuration suggests another pre-FTL civilization has achieved spaceflight. Singh shared a knowing look with Kirillix. Prepare a proper diplomatic welcome, she ordered. Let's show them how first contact should be done. As the unknown ship approached, it received a transmission in its native language. Welcome to Galactic Society. We are the alliance of free worlds, and we have much to share with you. The message was signed, Humanity, former slave species, current friends. In the decades that followed, historians would note that the hegemony's greatest mistake wasn't underestimating humanity's military capabilities. It was failing to realize that giving slaves access to advanced technology, while treating them as inferior beings, would inevitably lead to revolution. Humanity simply provided the spark, and proved that sometimes the most advanced civilization isn't the one with the most sophisticated technology, but the one that knows how to turn an enemy's strengths into weaknesses. The galaxy learned a valuable lesson. Never mistake technological advancement for superiority, and never assume that a primitive species will choose submission over defiance. The stars now belong to all species, working together in a harmony that hegemony could never have imagined. And in the deep archives of Unity Station, a simple plaque commemorates where it all began. When diplomacy failed, humanity responded, and the galaxy changed forever.